Yo, 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 we live, we back, man. What's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy, Ricky Rock, and we pouring live from Dear Fathers, and this is Just Tapping In. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody out there is safe and sound, and I don't know if you're going to work, coming from work, wherever you at. Hope you, bless, less stress. Today, Just Tapping In, man, we got a dope artist, creator, Renaissance man. This man does it all. If you're not familiar with Mr. DL Warfield from Big St. Louis, we'll be tapping in today, talking about his art, his creative drive, his fatherhood journey, and how he kind of balanced it out. What up, Val? What up, Butter? But yeah, man, I'm excited about today, man. The homie is in the A, but he from the city, man. So I'm excited to dive into his journey and art. I'm always interested in how, especially black men and women, get into art. You know, because we don't, see a lot of it. So I think it just is really dope to see that. Let's get some miles. And what you gonna run right now, Butter? I might though, man. I just ran again today, man. I'm addicted, baby. If y'all don't know, man, I've been running. I'm a runner. I'm a track star. Running, man. Big ups to running, man. Is really probably one of the highlights of my past 2 years, man. Really turned me up, man. Shout out to Butter, man. You turned me up like you never could have imagined. Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it's dope. We are so talented. We are so talented. I think black people can do anything, man. It's just really interesting how when the odds against us, not even the odds, like society, the economy, we still find a way to bubble to the top and excel in every aspect of creativity, whether it's sports, whether it's art, whether it's culinary, whether it's education. I'm just proud of us. So whatever you're doing right now, I'm proud of you and I appreciate you for doing whatever you're doing artistically, creatively, because we are all creators. Keep doing that, man, because somebody's watching you. Yes, so without further ado, we got the one and only Mr. DL Warfield tapping in. If y'all don't know him, you should. If you don't, go Google him real quick because you're going to want to. You dig? What's up, my brother?
I got your little track sprint challenge earlier. What's going on?
What's up, man? I'm what to say now. I was capping, man. I was capping, man. I ain't trying to pull nothing, man.
It's all love. It's all love. How are you?
I'm good, kind sir. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. You know, just
Are you
busy
still
as ever,
fast?
but I'm doing well. What'd you say?
What you say? I'm sorry, I missed it.
I said just busy as ever, but everything is
Yeah.
good. What about you?
Yes, sir. I'm busy. Life, kids. But I'm grateful, man. I'm really
Yeah.
grateful.
How many
Yes,
kids you
sir.
got?
I got 3 kids. I
Okay.
have a 15-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Okay.
So the whole spectrum. How about
Yeah.
you? You
I
got 2
got
kids?
2. But mine are grown-ups. Mine might be about your age, actually. I got I got a daughter that turned 25 on Saturday, and my son is 21.
Okay, well, you kind of just gave me a compliment. I'm 36, so I'll take that to the bank. I'll take that.
I got tennis shoes older than you.
Hey, are you still fast though? Are you still fast?
Yeah, I still got some speed, man. That recovery ain't what it used to be, but I still
Right.
play like competitive softball, and I still work out and I run, do stadiums like plyometrics. I just try to stay as mobile as I possibly can for as long as I can.
Okay. You know what? I actually try to put in a favor to one shoe and get your jersey retired. They told me it's on the ballot, man. You on the ballot to get your wash shoe jersey
Hey,
retired, man.
man,
Just you, man.
they should definitely retire that thing, man. It's funny when I went there. I was there with Coach Kimbaum, who now assists my quarterback Aaron King, who I played with, and then he was the offensive coordinator at Eastern Michigan, and now they hired him as the head coach. So but
Wow.
that's an awesome thing to see. But man, when I came in the same year that Coach Ken Baum did, and we both got our butts kicked, you know, but the program really turned around. And even when I see it, man, it's like I'm amazed that I actually went to school there.
I mean, WashU, if you don't know, WashU is top, is that always top 3, top 5 in the nation
Right.
overall. How did you, I guess, I know, I'm from St. Louis. I
Mm-hmm.
go to SLU though, so but I still got love for WashU. What drew you to WashU, and how'd you combine the art with the athletics? Is definitely an interesting combination.
Right. So what drew me to WashU is a funny thing. Like I didn't find out about WashU's existence till my senior year of high school, you know.
Mm.
And up until then, I really didn't have any idea of where I was going to go to school. I mean, I had like little small scholarship offers here and there, but I hadn't really made a decision. And so when I found out about WashU, it was two things that were important. One, I wanted to play athletics in college, and I did football and track. And but then I also needed to go someplace that had a good art school. So when I found out about the art program, and then I also found out about athletics, I'm like, man, I could go to school there.
Yeah.
You know, and so honestly, man, like my senior year of high school, and I went to Hazelwood East. Shout out to any Spartans. You know, that's
Spartans.
that's
I was gonna ask you that, but I didn't want to ask the St. Louis question and be so St.
oh
Louis.
man, Hazelwood, the mighty Hazelwood East Spartans. But
Spartans.
yeah, so when I found out about WashU, that was the only school that I applied for, you know, and I didn't get accepted. And you know, when I didn't get accepted, it crushed me, man, you know, because that was the only school that I wanted to attend.
Right.
And so I ended up earning a track scholarship to Southern Illinois. But before that, I remember like being in the hallway at WashU, I mean, at Hazelwood East, and talking to, you know, other students and talking about where I wanted to go to school. I remember people telling me that I could never get in there, you know, and man, it pissed me off. And so, you know, I held that in the back of my mind until I got to that university. So I went to Southern Illinois on a track scholarship. And then, you know, a year later, I transferred to Washington University with a 4.0 GPA.
Wow, man. Big WashU energy, man.
Yeah.
I think I got this from like a thrift store or something. I don't know where I got it, but I'm gonna send it to you though, bro. I'm gonna send this to you. You need this. You need this, brother. I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah. Maybe you can make the art. Make like the WashU remix or something.
Right. I'll do whatever. Yeah, I'll do whatever.
So in the vein of art, I'm interested in, because you took art and creativity to a whole nother level. I'm interested in, did you see someone in the space that inspires you? Because we don't see a lot of us, especially at that time in this creative space. Right. Who even showed you or told you that you could take art to this level?
Man, that's a great question. And so it's a couple things, man. Like I had touch points in my life, right? And so like I remember, for instance, like when I was in middle school, like my godfather, a gentleman named Ronald King, you know, still lives in St. Louis, North County, you know, one of the coaches for the Blues Track Club, you know. But yeah. So that's who I grew up running for. And so, you know, he knew I was an artist, and he worked at a company called American Can Company. And, you know, he had me enter this logo design contest, you know, like my 7th or 8th grade year of high school. And I won the logo contest, you know, so they paid me like a little stipend. But so it was people like that. And then like in high school, the two of the art teachers that I had, they worked out a deal with my principal on my senior year that if I got all of my work done, I could just go to my home room and then spend the whole day in my art studio. And so I'm like, man, like what kind of people do that, you know? And so at the time I was just thinking, you know what, I don't got to go to, you know, algebra. I don't got to go to social studies. But what they were doing was, to me, I think it was so far advanced. And, you know, it didn't really impact me as much then as when I reflected and I seen the value of people investing and believing in young people, you know.
Man.
And so my senior year of high school is when I met like my first Black art director. And before I had no idea of what an art director was. And so this gentleman's name, you know, his name was Ken Jones. And he was the art director and an illustrator for the Oak Tree Clothing Stores, which was based in St. Louis on Edison. You know, it was a part of the Brothers family.
Okay.
Yeah, and so at that time, you know, like he used to do all of the illustrations that were on the hang tags, on the jackets and things like that. And he did beautiful work, man. So I actually used to go into the Oak Tree, Northwest Plaza, and I used to steal the tags off of the clothes, and then to go home and draw the tags that he had, you know, draw the tags that he illustrated, right? And so when I first met him, you know, for a kid, it was like I met Michael Jordan almost, you know. And so meeting him and hearing the stories, it kind of like opened my eyes a little bit of what I could potentially be, you know. Another gentleman that I met, he worked for this company called Art Instruction Schools. And art instruction schools used to advertise in the TV guides are before your era. But like they would always have, you know, in the front of that, like if you think you're an artist, you know, draw this picture, mail it back, right? And so I drew the picture that they had and I mailed it in, and then, you know, my mom got a phone call and they was like, your kid has talent. And, you know, at the time, like we couldn't afford to sign up. It was like correspondence courses. I couldn't afford to sign up to take those classes, you know, but he still gave me some great advice, which was, you know, if you're an artist, you got to let the world know, you know. And so he asked me, was I involved in the school newspaper? You know, I told him no. He asked me, was I involved in the yearbook staff? I told him no, you know. And he was like, well, both of those need artists. Like the yearbook staff needs designers. They need illustrators. The newspaper needs comic book artists, you know. And so I took his advice, and actually from taking his advice, like my senior year, I was the state champion in both categories, you know.
Wow.
That they hold up at Mizzou, you know. And I don't know if you know, but like Mizzou is really big for journalism, and so so it was a journalism competition. So
I went to Mizzou actually first. I actually went to Mizzou for a year and a half. So yeah, for sure.
Got it. So it was things like that, you know. It was I had great internships, you know, like that I actually got through Ken Jones, who I mentioned earlier. Right? Like, you know, my first Black graphic designer, Mark Scott Carroll, who was a huge mentor and influence on me. You know, like everything I know about graphic design, I learned from this guy, you know.
Man,
and then awesome. And then there was another guy named Tony Wade, who was like the best illustrator that I had ever met, you know, and his work was beautiful. And so a lot of the ways on how I see and use color, you know, it was all inspired by Tony Wade. And so, you know, I met these people, and they were like, you know, like how when you think about an angel, you might think that it's a person with wings and things like that. Actually, it might just be somebody that God brings into your life to really help you and you know, and help you elevate and push and achieve great things, and then also show you examples of what you can be. And so that's what all of those people, you know, did for me.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like the universe, you said angels, was kind of pushing you to be an artist from a very young age. I mean, from doing art all the time in high school to creating some of the cover art for, and this was news to me, that you created all the cover art for TLC and OutKast and Usher. Man, that is a crazy, because you never really think back then like who did, because you know now art on the cover is a thing, but back then I never thought who made the art for these classic albums. Before we get into the fatherhood, I gotta just kind of pick your brain on that. Do you reflect on how I'm sure you do, but how legendary that is for you to have created something, almost a lane before we even knew there was a lane of cover art making? How did that come about?
Well, you know, at the time that I was doing it, I wasn't thinking about being legendary, you know, on any facet. Like I knew that I was working for two people that were legendary, you know, which was L.A. Reid and Babyface. And even how I got my job there was legendary. And I got to share this story because it might serve as some inspiration for some of the people that are watching. So, like when I was in New York and I was working for Tommy Boy Records and very creatively frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And so before I went to New York, I actually was in Atlanta for like some free agent football workout stuff. You know, that didn't pan out. So I took the job for Tommy Boy Records in New York. I was there for like a year. And then I got a call from the vice president of marketing from LaFace Records saying, hey, are you interested in being our creative director? And I was like, absolutely. Like working for LaFace was a dream come true. You know, like they defined, like, you know, LA and Babyface really helped define the 90s in music. And I was a huge fan, you know, even going back to like the Deal days, you know.
Yeah.
And so at any rate, flew down for the interview, crushed the interview, right? So when I get back, maybe like 3 days later, you know, I do my follow-up, you know, and when I called the person that brought me down to interview, you know, I asked her, you know, like, what's the status? And she said that they really like you, but they think that you're too young for the job.
Dang.
Like, damn, I mean, you know, just like how I didn't get accepted to Wash U the first time, like I feel the exact same way when she said. And so like, but my competitive nature, I was like, there's no way I'm not getting this job, you know? And so that same day I went home from work early, sick, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And on the way home, I stopped by a prop store and I bought like fake dynamite, a clock, like something that looked like a C4 pack, a bunch of wires, and I packaged it all together to make it look like a bomb, okay? And so then I got magazines, I cut letters out, and I made it look like a ransom note that said, hire DL Warfield to get the job or else. So I connected that to the bomb, wound it up, FedExed it to L.A. Reid, right? 2 hours later, they called me and they said, L.A. said, if he has to send a bomb down here to get the job, hire his ass. And that got me to like,
bro, you can't make that up, bro. That's
no,
crazy.
yeah. So that was like one of those things, you know, and I go back to just everything that I experienced, you know, from being an athlete. And honestly, like I think being an athlete has benefited me more of being an artist versus being an artist has benefited me for being an artist. Because in sports, you know, it's about, you know, work your butt off, get results, work your butt off. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Some things aren't going to work out and you just keep going and you keep fighting.
Right.
So I've always pretty much approached art the same way. But, you know, but to go back, you know, like when you were talking about the legendary thing, aspects of working at LaFace, man, like what was beautiful was that I got to be around like those artists and hear the music at the genesis when it first happened, you know? And so what really used to get me fired up is hearing the music, you know, and what really got me fired up is being able to collaborate with the artist. And so like I always wanted to give them the best possible thing that we can do. And then also from a competitive standpoint, like when you walked into a record store, I wanted their cover to vibrate against everybody else's cover that was there. You know, so that was pretty much like how I approached it. You know, again, like I wasn't really thinking about being legendary, you know, within those moments because you're just working and you're trying to hit deadlines, you know, and you're trying to, you know, constantly keep pushing the envelope. But when I sit back and I think about it, I was like, yeah, that was definitely a cool opportunity and a wonderful privilege to try to.
Man, that's hella cool, man. I'm sure your kid. How do your kids feel like now with like social media? Like they're probably more aware than ever of like how cool and like hip and like prominent you are in culture. How do they perceive like their dad, DL Warfield, like hanging with T.I. and like,
right? Well, you know what? Like they would never tell me any of that, you know. So you know, I don't know, like, but every now and then, like they'll post something or they'll tweet something about their dad, you know, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But other than that, like they'll never know. Like me and my wife, who was actually like a Hazelwood Spartan as well.
Okay.
You know, like when we first moved to Atlanta, like we really didn't have anybody around to like really take care, you know, of our kids. And so, like my daughter grew up, you know, being around Usher, you know, being around TLC, you know, being OutKast and all that. So, and both of them like know all of them. And so I don't think like they've never really been like starstruck because those people just seem like people that
Oh,
we
right, right.
already knew. You know, they I think like the stars of their era, like they might look at them a little bit different, but other people, you know, like they've seen them, you know, just kick back, sitting on the couch, you know, eating tacos. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's what changes it. But you know, I think, you know, deep down inside, my kids might know I'm cool, but they'll never let me know.
Well, they know you cool. You know dad stuff is kind of hard to tell your dad how cool your dad is. But you mentioned when you first moved to Atlanta that you didn't have nobody help watch the kids. How was that to really, I mean, balance like diving into you're in Atlanta trying to
Right.
dive in creatively. How was that like balancing having kids at that time?
Well, you know, so my daughter, we had her, you know, in 96, but I moved to Atlanta in 95. So it was
Mm.
close, you know.
Right.
And you know what, man, we like me and my wife, we just made it work. You know, like I used to rely on like coworkers, like everybody wanted to babysit my daughter. You know, matter
Mm.
of fact, like even when my daughter was little, like Pink used to babysit my daughter, you know.
Wow.
And so but everybody wanted to babysit her, and me and my wife, like, you know, we were pretty simple. We were like, we just need 2 hours. Just give us 2 hours, we're gonna go see a movie, you know, or we're gonna go, you know, grab dinner. But it was, you know, but it was tough, but you know, we got through it because like the LaFace schedule was so hectic. And you know, I mean, like it was rare that I got home before 9 o'clock, you know. And so having a little baby and a wife, you know, and not really a lot of family members around, I mean, you know, it made it tough.
Yeah. So now with them being grown, um do they kind of ask questions about when they were younger? Like 'cause I guess being around the industry so much, like were they aware of what was going on at that time?
Probably like my daughter more than my son. You know,
Okay.
my daughter is like, you know, she's a star in her own right. Like she's a writer director, so she was really always on to like performing. You know, she was a theater major. You know, like my son was about like sports, meat, and candy. You know, and so like when he was little,
Boys.
he could really care less about any of that. Like he wanted to play sports, eat meat, and eat candy. Like that was kind of his thing. You know, my daughter, she got it. You know, she understood it because she used to do, you know, I mean, just like a lot of other little kids, like, you know, do performances in the living room and things like that. You know, like my son would just kind of sit back, lay back, and just like watch her go at it. So, you know, both of they were both around it, but the way that they probably took everything in was totally different.
I gotta ask you, bro. My brother here keep asking. I don't know if you can give the sauce away about the hat. I don't know if you can tell him where he got it from, but can you give a hint on where the hat is from? People keep saying that hat hard. That hat hard.
Uh, yeah, this one came from a company called Lack of Color. You know, but it's and they're in Australia, but in St. Louis, you know, it's one of the hat capitals. So I would say check out Friedman's if you're in St. Louis.
Amen. Yeah.
You know, like I get hats from Gorin, and then it's a company in Atlanta that makes hats called BM Franklin, you know, and so I would check them out. And then yeah, that's it. I mean, but I'm always looking. So matter of fact, I just bought a hat from this place called Hatitude, you know. I'm, al-
I feel
I'm
like
always looking.
you might have this up your alley already, but I feel like you definitely should have your own hat line.
Man, I agree. Like I was thinking about that. I was like, you know what? I mean, because I have a product and a fashion background. I just got to find somebody that wants to fund it, you know. But I have plenty of ideas for that type of stuff.
Well, when you do, I just want to come just model a hat on the runway, yeah, man.
Say
Just
less.
all right, my dude. But yeah, man. I really appreciate you, Mr. DL Warfield. Not that you're only from St. Louis, man. I'm super inspired. Keeping it real. Before, when I got hip to you, I didn't even know you from St. Louis. And when I started to dig, I'm like, man, my brother's from St. Louis. So
Yeah.
it's just inspiring to see a young black man do something that we don't see a lot in St. Louis. And I don't even know if you saw at that time as much in St. Louis. So
I mean, going back to like those gentlemen that I said were my mentors, I mean, you know, like you know, they were all in St. Louis, you know, and so uh, seeing them just made me believe that I can do it, you know. I mean, and I had other mentors as well, man, that really, really like you know, went to bat for me. Like, it's a gentleman, man, and he's still in St. Louis. His name is Mark Pitley Angus. He owns buildings down in Washington. He has a company called East Bank Neon, but like, he was one of the first entrepreneurs that I even met. You know, like his daughter went to a rival high school, and she owns, I forgot her, she owns a building downtown St. Louis called the Thaxton. And
Oh, I know Thaxton. Yeah.
Event space. Yeah. So, and so she introduced me to her dad, like right out of high school. And I was doing freelance projects, you know, for him, you know, just like little simple illustration stuff for his neon company. So it was really, man, like those people, man, that at the time, you don't really understand how they're impacting you know. And so, like, you know, I've always felt compelled to play that forward, you know, and mentor or coach any type of way that I can, you know. And so for years, I coached youth football. It's a bunch of guys that I coach that are playing college football, a couple in the NFL.
What's up, man?
You know, like I coach track and field, you know, forever, because tracks pay for my school. And one thing I'm excited about is in November, I'm going to be launching a online that'll be streaming on Apple TV, high school art gallery. You know,
wow.
So, yeah, it's strictly for high school students. And so I'm really excited about that as a way to like play it forward, give back, and also connect them with art mentors.
Look, my son, actually, I hit my son to you before this interview, and I'm actually in his room right now, actually. He got art. I mean, he's a amazing artist. He got art drawing books everywhere. So I'm gonna make sure I link him with that too, man. That's I mean,
amazing. We could do an IG live with your son just like this. You know, I think that a lot of times, you know, kids that are creative, especially like in middle school and elementary school, like they don't understand like the career paths that they take. And so when I speak to young kids, I tell them it's like everything in your room, everything in your closet, everything that you look at on your phone was designed by an artist, you know? And so an artist just doesn't mean painting and sculpting. An artist means design those Nikes or design that new Tesla. You know?
Phone that we're on right.
I think like I think it helps kids wrap their brain around everything when they see how it can be applied. You know, some people think it's literally canvas, murals, and things like that, which is great. But artists can also do other things as well.
Man, that's extremely impactful, and I can't wait to explain that to him in that manner. I'll have him to tap into your high school curriculum.
I got to shout out my homie D Neal. He actually works with us. He's an incredible photographer, you know, based in St. Louis, you know. But shout out to D Neal.
D Neal, oh, that's my boy, man.
Demetrius.
D, man, yeah, it's my boy, man. He's so humble, man. He plugged in there. You know how plugged in he really was, man. What up, D?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. But before I let you go, brother, you got here at Dear Fathers, our main focus is to tell stories of Black fatherhood in whatever aspect that may be. So if you could give any advice, gems to any young father, maybe trying to balance their art and fatherhood, or balance sports and being a young father, what gems would you give them to how to just be the best they can be?
Man, I hope so many. So I think that, to me, some of the most important things that you can instill in your kid is confidence and believing in themselves, And so, you can do that in so many different ways. And, I think that, one of the things that I used to really, really try to preach to my kids was, effort over results. So, if they're playing sports, or if they're working on art, or doing with everything, like if they're always giving it everything that they got, I tell them that God is going to make it work out for them, So I think a lot of times, especially like if, you're an athlete yourself, you might be more concerned about the performance, because they lost,
Right.
Right. It's not, even though, they keep scoring and you want to get the dub, it's about work ethic, especially at a young age. So dads, that are dads, coach, mentor, or whatever, preach effort, effort, humility mixed with tenacity. I think that's what you got to give them.
Humility mixed with tenacity, man. I wrote that down, actually. Thank you. Yes, sir. My brother, man, Mr. DL Warfield. He dropping that headline soon. He got high school curriculum dropping soon, man. Not to mention he's one of the most. I heard some called you creative crusader. I don't even know what it is, but you are a creative crusader. Mr. DL Warfield, I appreciate you, man. Big SEO energy, man. I'm glad I got to meet you virtually,
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, I'm gonna be doing something in St. Louis soon. I was planning on doing like a big art activation right before the pandemic, so I might try to get that ramp back up. Back.
If you do, hit me up, man. If you need somebody home to move some things around, man, I'm your guy, man, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
All right, my brother. Take it easy, man.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. That was DL Warfield, man. Creative Crusader from St. Louis, Missouri. Didn't even know he's from St. Louis until I saw I think I saw the American Flag remix art. I forgot to even mention it, but you can go to his page and look it up, man. Dude, do some dope things. He created the cover art for OutKast and Usher and TLC like in the 90s. Like, that's super iconic. And for this brother to have done that and still stay consistent and relevant right now is just hella inspiring, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna bounce because my kids in there. I don't know if you heard them, but they in there making all kind of ruckus. But I'm Ricky Rock, man. This is just happening Tuesdays. Dear Fathers, the premier outlet for premier media, video, stories, merch. We got Straight Mental, our mental health series every last Sunday of the month. We got Books and Bourbon every second Wednesday of the month. It's tomorrow. We got Book Club. We got we talking to Dad, Celebrity Dad. Got a podcast. Go to dearfathers.com for all the info. I appreciate you, my brother. Great interview, man. I'm inspired. These interviews inspire me. Not only to like give big effort in whatever I do, but also be a great father, because people are looking. No matter who you are, somebody's looking at you, somebody's watching you. So act accordingly. I'm outside your hair, man. I'm out y'all hair. Outside y'all hair. What? I'm out y'all hair, man. I'm Ricky Rock, man. I'm finna go take it easy. Y'all be easy, man. Till then, be grateful, be blessed, and stay alive, please. We outside. Ski,